OpenAI just launched a product that lets ChatGPT read your bank statements, analyze your investments, and give you personalized financial advice, and over 12,000 banks are already connected. This is either the most useful AI feature of 2026 or the biggest privacy experiment in fintech history. And I'm going to break down exactly what it does, how it works under the hood, what OpenAI actually gets out of it, and whether you should trust it with your money. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand this better than 99% of people signing up for it right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Genuinely excited to cover this one, it's moving fast. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because I cover AI news every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming in the next few months. Alright, let's get into it. If you've been following this channel, you know we don't do surface level AI recaps. We dig in what these announcements actually mean for your business, your money, and your life. Today's story is about OpenAI launching its personal finance experience inside ChatGPT on May 15th, 2026. And honestly, it's one of the most significant product moves they've made in a long time. Not because of what it does today, but because of what it sets up for tomorrow. Let me walk you through exactly what happened, and then I'm going to show you the part nobody else is talking about. So here's what happened. OpenAI partnered with Plaid, the same company that powers apps like Venmo, Robinhood, and most major fintech tools to let you connect your bank accounts directly inside ChatGPT. Once you're connected, ChatGPT pulls in your spending data, your investment performance, upcoming bills and subscriptions, your full cash flow picture, and your liabilities, meaning loans, credit cards, all of it. And then it builds your dashboard right inside ChatGPT. This includes portfolio performance, spending, subscriptions, and upcoming payments. The list of connected institutions includes Chase, Fidelity, Schwab, Robinhood, American Express, and Capital One, and a whole lot more. That's over 12,000 banks and financial institutions in total, basically the entire US banking and fintech market. Now, a couple of important details people just keep getting wrong is that it is just a preview. OpenAI deliberately shipped it to a smaller group to learn from real-world use before expanding. It's Pro only, and that's the $100 a month tier. The older $200 a month Pro plan has it too. If you've seen people say it's that one, it's a bit outdated. It's US only on web and iOS. Plus and free don't have access to it yet. And here's the tell that this is a serious strategic bet, not a side experiment. OpenAI acquired the team behind a personal finance startup called Hero back in April, about a month before this launched. You don't acquire a finance team for a feature you're not committed to. They also leaned in on the new GPT 5.5 model for this, which OpenAI says is meaningfully stronger at reasoning through messy, context-dependent questions. That's exactly the kind of reasoning personal finance demands. One stat framing the whole thing. OpenAI says more than 200 million people are already asking ChatGPT money questions every single month. This launch just makes those answers personal. Okay, let me put my IT hat on for a second, because the mechanics of this matter a lot more for the trust question, and almost nobody's explaining them. When you connect an account, you're not handing your bank password to OpenAI, you go through Plaid, which sits in the middle as basically a permission layer. You pick your institution, you log in inside Plaid's interface, and you authorize specific data sharing. ChatGPT never sees your login credentials. What comes back to ChatGPT is a token, and that token has scopes. Think of scopes as a permissions list. ChatGPT requests permissions to read your balances, transactions, investments, and liabilities. What it does not request, and this is the important part, is the payment permission. In Plaid systems, that's a separate scope, and OpenAI didn't ask for it. Why doesn't that matter? Because it means even if the model completely hallucinates, even if it confidently decides you should wire $4,000 somewhere, it structurally cannot do it. There's no plumbing connecting the chatbot to actually moving your money. It can read, it cannot act. It also can't see your full account numbers. What it can see is balances, transactions, investments, liabilities, and subscriptions, but it cannot move money, place trades, see full account numbers, or pay bills. This is the single most reassuring fact about the whole product, and it's the one most of the scary headlines leave out. Read only by design. Keep that in your back pocket because we're going to get to complicating it later. Read only does not mean risk-free. Let's talk about the practical stuff because some of this is genuinely useful. It answers based on your actual data, not hypotheticals, not generic advice you could have Googled. You can ask it things like, where am I spending my money I don't need to be spending? Or, am I on track to hit my savings goal by December? There's also a feature called Financial Memories. You tell it context like, I'm saving for a car early next year, or I still owe my parents money on a loan, and it remembers that and folds it into future answers. So instead of treating every question in isolation, it connects the dots across your accounts and your goals. That's the part that actually feels different from a budgeting app. You can also run scenario planning like, if I put away $500 more per month starting now, when could I take a 6-month sabbatical? Forward projection with real numbers behind it. A lot of human financial advisors don't even do this well. So, you can do things like goal planning, spending insights, subscription review, investment risk, and scenario planning. But here's where it gets strategically interesting. This is a roadmap, not the feature you have today. OpenAI says Intuit integration is coming, and Intuit owns TurboTax, QuickBooks, and Credit Karma. When that lands, ChatGPT won't just tell you things, it'll be able to take actions, like what happens to my tax bill if I sell these shares before December and get a real estimate, or, given my credit profile, what are my approval odds for this card, and it'll actually start the application. That second one, live credit analysis on real credit data, basically has no equivalent anywhere right now. So today, it's read-only analyst. That direction it's heading is an agent that does things with your money. Hold on to that because the whole ballgame for this is in the next section. Alright, so here's a hot take. The question I keep coming back to. What does OpenAI actually get out of this? And let me be precise here, because this is where a lot of commentary is going to get it wrong. The obvious cynical answer is they want your financial data to train their models, but OpenAI explicitly says they do not train their models on your connected financial data. So if I told you this was a training data grab, I'd be feeding you something you could disprove in 30 seconds, and I'm not going to do that. Here's what I think is actually going on, and it's smarter and more durable than a data grab. It's lock-in. It's positioning. OpenAI is trying to become the layer your financial life runs through. Think about it. Once you've spent 6 months running your budget, your goal planning, and your investment questions through ChatGPT, once it holds the context of your mortgage, your debts, your savings goals, your spending patterns, and pretty much everything else, are you switching to a competitor? No. You'd be starting from zero somewhere else. The product isn't the dashboard, the product is the switching cost. And there's a second order win that has nothing to do with training on your specific transactions. When 200 million people interact with money questions through one system, OpenAI learns, in aggregate, how humans actually make financial decisions. Not your data specifically, the patterns, what people ask, when they hesitate, what advice they act on. That aggregate understanding is strategically valuable in a way subscription revenue isn't, and it's exactly the kind of data that makes the next version of the product better than anyone else's. So the honest framing for you, the viewer, isn't they're stealing your data, it's this. You're being invited to make ChatGPT indispensable to your financial life. That might be a great deal, but go in understanding that the indispensability is actually the goal. That's not the criticism, it's just clear-eyed. Now, let's slow down and do the part that actually protects you, because read-only is reassuring, but it's not the whole story. First, the controls OpenAI genuinely gets right. Disconnect any account, anytime, in settings, apps, finances. 30-day deletion of synced data once you disconnect. View and delete financial memories whenever you want. Multi-factor authentication you can turn on. and read-only access so it can't move money or see full account numbers. Credit where it's due, those are real controls. Now the risks, and I want you to actually sit with these. Centralization. Until now, ChatGPT had your conversation history. Now it can hold your conversation history and your complete financial picture, your income, debts, net worth, investment positions, and spending patterns all in one account. That makes your OpenAI login an extraordinarily high value target. One compromised account now exposes a lot more of your life than it used to. And ChatGPT is not end-to-end encrypted, which means, in principle, people at OpenAI with the right access can see what you put in. That's always been true for your chats. It's just a matter of a lot more of it being available, including your bank accounts. 2. Plaid itself. Plaid is battle tested and used everywhere, but it's not spotless. Back in 2022, Plaid paid a $58 million class action settlement covering an estimated 98 million people over allegations it used bank lookalike login screens and pulled more transaction data than it needed. I'm not telling you to panic. I'm telling you the middle layer has a history and you should know it. 3. Hallucinations. And this was the one that worries me the most as a technical person. The exact thing that makes large language models magical at language, predicting the most plausible next word, is the thing that makes them dangerous with money. Finance is dollar specific and intolerant to plausible but wrong. Independent benchmarks across dozens of models in 2026 have found hallucination rates ranging anywhere from 15% to over 50% depending on the task. OpenAI says GPT 5.5 scored around 79 and the Pro model is around 82 on an internal personal finance benchmark they built with 50 plus financial professionals. Sit with that 79 for a second. That's genuinely impressive for an AI, but it's also a number you would never accept from a human accountant. OpenAI says themselves this is not a replacement for a professional financial advisor. Believe them on that one. And compare this honestly to your bank account. People love to say, well, my bank already sells my data. Well, it's not that simple. Banks are actually regulated on this, and they're required to send you privacy notices and, in many cases, let you opt out of certain sharing. The real difference here isn't bank evil, OpenAI good, it's concentration. You're choosing to put more of your financial life into a single AI system that you can't put anywhere else, and you have never done it before. That's the actual trade. So, decision time. Here's my honest framework, depending on who you are. Already on Pro? This is essentially a free upgrade, and a compelling one. Try it, but connect to one account first, not all of them. See how it handles your data before you go all in. Not on Pro? Do the math. Pro is $100 a month. A dedicated tool like Copilot Money is around $96 a year. Paying $100 a month for what is today a conversational interface to your Plaid data is a hard sell unless you're already getting the rest of the Pro's value. Don't subscribe just for this. Privacy conscious or new to AI? Wait. Wait for the Plus tier, wait for the independent security audits, and watch what regulators say over the next few months. There's no prize for being first to connecting your bank account to a preview product. And whatever you decide, here's a free action item that helps you regardless. Go to my.plaid.com and audit your Plaid portal. Most people have a pile of stale Plaid connections still leaking data to apps they stopped using years ago. Revoke the ones you don't use. That's your real exposure surface, and cleaning it up is smart whether or not you ever touch this with ChatGPT. My personal rule, and I'd suggest you adopt some version of it: concepts, not dollar amounts; questions, not blind answers. Use it to understand your money better. Don't outsource the actual decision to a model that's right 79% of the time. Let's zoom all the way out, because this isn't really a finance story, it's a platform story. OpenAI is no longer just a chatbot company. Over the past year, they've been systematically expanding ChatGPT into a platform. Your work, your code, your communication, and now your money. Microsoft has your Office documents, Apple has your photos, Google has your search and email. OpenAI wants to be the AI layer on top of all of it. And they're not alone. And that's the part that makes this a moment, not just a product. Perplexity launched its own financial research product around the same time. Both OpenAI and Anthropic have rolled out health tools. Every major AI lab is racing toward their own high-trust, high-stakes corners of your life, health, money, and work, because those are exactly the areas where once you're in, you don't leave. The consumer side backs this up. Surveys this year show that more than half of Americans now use AI to help manage their finances in some way, but only about 18% are comfortable letting it make major decisions for them. That gap right there is the whole story of 2026. We want the help. We don't yet trust it with the wheel. The company that closes the gap, the one that earns the trust to actually act, wins enormous territory. This launch is OpenAI's opening move to close it. So, here's my take all the way. ChatGPT's personal finance experience is genuinely useful, genuinely well built on privacy mechanics, and genuinely worth thinking critically about before you opt in. The best users of AI tools aren't the most excited ones or the most paranoid ones. They're the ones who understand exactly what they're trading when they connect. If this breakdown helped, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the algorithm push this to people who need to see it. Subscribe if you're not already here every week, and drop a comment. Would you connect your bank account to ChatGPT? Yes or no, or maybe but not yet. I want to see where this community lands. Looking forward to seeing you on the next video.